Okay, so like yesterday, my kid was stolen from me, and now people don't even realize the repercussions of what they do, and like that long, uh, the long standing or whatever effects, the residual effects of everything that they cause. And I never got on here to seek subscribers. I didn't seek that. I was seeking justice. I was seeking true justice in my situations. And that's why I started disclosing my story like I did over a year and a half ago, sharing bits and pieces of it because I knew what went down. I knew what had gone on. That's why I don't really believe half the people that watch me are normal people, regular, everyday people. They're more than likely authoritative figures and people that watch me and monitor me to see how far I'm going to go to speak the truth and try to find justice. Good morning. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I am looking forward to just traveling again. I don't really have anything else I want to do anymore. I don't, he said get a job. How the fuck am I gonna have a job and like I don't want to do anything? No thanks. People are so fucking stupid. I just wanted to tell him to his face too, like, are you fucking retarded? You're gonna make somebody go out there that literally wants to die. Like, you're gonna force me to get a job on top of trying to get my kid back? That's what's wrong with the systems. Jobs don't make it. Money doesn't make it like that. It's actual compassion. And people don't even realize that you're paying in with all the karma that you're like force feeding other people, your nonsense. Oh, you gotta get a job, you gotta do this and that so that, you know, everyone accepts you in society. The society's burning to fucking hell around us, so what the fuck? Slightly dehydrated. I got blood all over my pants. Why do I care? Like, after a certain point, I just don't give a fuck. I really don't. The worst part about just existing is that I have to do it every day. That's so sad. Like, all I want to do is die. And I wanted to die while the baby was in me because I knew that there was no possible way that I could keep him without his dad being around, to be able to help me and to be able to like house me and allow me to prepare for the baby. That ship sailed a while ago. Well, I mean, thanks for catching one of my lives. There's really nothing spectacular about it. There's nothing spectacular about me in general. I'm trying to feel okay. Thank you for asking. Thank you for hoping and like people's prayers that I'm gonna be okay. I'd be okay if I committed suicide, honestly. People are crazy. It would be better off if I did, and people don't even realize that. They're just like, yeah, I have an email. I put it out there many months ago and I thought people were actually going to help me, and all I get is harassing messages. It's voted_missoutgoing@yahoo.com. I tried to just reach out with all of these things, all of these, and if anybody wants my phone number, it's 501-282-8833. I obviously am not doing well. I don't really give a fuck about doxing myself or doxing anybody around me. You know, it's not about the things that you say, it's about the things that you do, but also the things that you say that you don't follow through with. So I would have thought, yeah, there's no worries. People know me personally. They know I would never harm a child. They know I would never put like another person in danger before placing myself in danger first. But they didn't see that because this was a different town. Because this was a place where people still feel like they own the fucking earth, that they own other people. And So I just figure, oh, it's just part of a breeding program, whatever. He's probably retarded now because they took him away and they injected him with shit that he shouldn't have been injected with. Now he's going to end up all retarded. I don't even want him back. You know, like, you get to a certain point where you realize people tamper with your reality all the time. He was born healthy. He was born happy. We all saw how, you know, physically fit he was. So now if I were to get him back, 99% chance that there would be something wrong with him, because I already know that the systems are like that. They find any way to try to cover this shit up. And in actuality, some of those shots are very detrimental. So they probably even injected him with the COVID shot. Why do I care? At this point, I don't. I already said he was part of the US government. I already know. He was just part of an experiment. That's how I place it and my mindset, and that's how I manage to get through my days, because that was not normal. What happened was not normal. The conception, the entire flawed system of 3 weeks of investigation, that's why I started speaking out. That's why when I share my story, people are like, no, that is not right. That's not proper procedure. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, take it up to them, you know, bring it up to them, because apparently I'm worthless to them. I don't know why my words are worthless. Oh, hold on. The negative words are always pinpointed for me. Don't forget that. Like, the negative fucking shit that I say, it's not about everything. It's not about the love I give out. It's not about every word that I issue or everything I do hands-on. It's about the negative words that I state. And everybody's like, well, that's not a violation of your freedom of speech when you're threatening people. I wasn't. Like, you're all fucked anyway. Like, the fact that you can't do things properly, you're unprofessional like that, and you're working in the field, man, I feel sorry for you and your offspring, because you're fucked. So yeah, I feel terrible. Like, I feel terrible that my poor baby had to be ripped away from me, because I know he cried for me. And he's going to continue to cry for me. And he's not going to hear my voice ever again, you know? Aside from when he finds these videos, of course. And like I stated to everyone, if anything happened to my channel, if anything happened to my freedom of speech and my being able to relay my story the way that I need to and want to, then you know something's wrong. You know that the systems are tainted. You know that there's something extremely backhanded and shady going on, that they just want to cover up their men, you know, like the things that men do. So, thank you for the sorries, but I really don't need any sorries. What I needed was somebody to help me before it all happened, and instead they were like, oh no, we're gonna take it to the extreme. Okay, like, I'll cry about it, but then I'll get over it, and it's none of my business that you did that. And inevitably, if he's not retarded by the time he's older, then he'll realize, oh my God, like, I actually had a loving mom. Like, I really did. And what did they do? They pushed her away. They forced her to fucking relinquish me. So, and my dad was a piece of shit and never protected my mother, never did anything to try to help her, and just hurt her. And that's how men are. And he's gonna realize, ah, shit, I'm a piece of shit. You know, my mom, she hated me sometimes because I hurt her inside of her. And I never hated him. I said some shit, yeah, but like, I wasn't gonna, like, and then everyone wanted me detained in pregnancy. That's illegal. Like, all of that's illegal. I don't really know why you would go to that extreme, but apparently, since I talk against the federal government and I tell them, disclose them, well, here's living proof that you're all fucking dumb. I mean, you took away our rights to have abortions now. You're fucking retarded. And you're just like, oh no, it's not retardation. What it is evil doings. Oh my God, we have to force everyone to repopulate. Oh my God, we have to force you into compliance so you can't smoke weed. Oh my God, then you'd be too easygoing. Oh my God, we have to regulate this shit. We can't let this get out that it's some kind of miracle drug. We can't let this out to share with the world that, oh my God, people are actually getting better if they just smoke and don't do any of this fucking toxic shit with all these additives and all these chemicals. It's on everybody else. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I just want to kill myself. But this is like an honest threat. Anybody that loses their child like I did, both of them, like I did, and being a mother, there's a huge difference. Men will come up to me all day long, blah, 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 I lost my... I'm sorry, what? Did you shit that baby out? Did that come out of your shitter? Like, okay, you can't even comprehend how painful it is, because even the largest shit that you've ever had, that may cut up your fucking asshole, you fucking hemorrhoid bitch, that's something that is a good sensation to you because it's that pain. What the fuck? I don't know how some bitches can come during childbirth. I did not feel that sensation. I wanted to kill myself. That was the worst fucking pain I'd ever lived through. And then you ripped away the baby and I'm just like, oh, not for me. Check, please. Like, I guess that's not what the Lord gave me. And they're like, no, you're supposed to fight for the things the Lord gives you. No, you're not. They're blessings. They're supposed to be things that are offered to you out of the kindness of the universe's heart. I wasn't born this way to sit there and pay bills and taxes for myself, let alone my children. I'm telling you, this is not okay. I don't know about anybody else, but like many thousands of years ago, and in the future even, they're not going to have to fucking deal with that shit. They're not going to sit there and tax people for breathing the fucking air. More than likely, we're going to be fucking bombed and shit, like, or some kind of meteor is going to take out a majority of us. But the fact of it is that, I mean, there are times where I'm very sensible. And people are like, that's not sensible. Go fight for your child. I'm like, no, it's sensible to leave him alone. Like, if that's what they want, if they want to speak up on behalf of my child, although my child really liked me, I don't know, he seemed like he really liked me. Seemed like we got along really good. I kept popping my tit in his mouth every 5 minutes just to see if he was okay. And I figured, oh, you know, we're going to be okay. No, they're eyeballing you. They make sure. They're watching you. They're recording you. Do what? Sweet, kind things to people? Yeah, I know. That's sick, isn't it? Sick fucking bitch. Look at her talking shit and never fucking raises a hand in a negative way to anyone. This crazy bitch. Look at her. Destroys her own things. Destroys the things around her that are hers. Setting things on fire? Oh my God! Well, I was pretty angry while I was pregnant. I remember those raging hormones. Like I told the detective, where they ping things, where you say bomb, and things like the White House. And they're like, oh, what are you gonna do? Like, they look at you like, oh, what do you, say it. I'm gonna bomb the White House. And then they're like, okay, you didn't get the tone of that or the influx, so what you're gonna do is take that out of context. The words, you didn't hear me say it, but here we are recording everything. That's hilarious. So fucking funny. I was thinking about something really funny last night too. Something I wanted to relay about the situation, because I'm just like, this cannot be real. Like, this can't be real, that I have to go through all of these emotions as a female and as all of this stuff. And people think that I'm really gonna be hurt in the long run by this. And I'm like, no. God's rejection like that is a blessing. I don't know what to tell you. It's really sad for me, yes, for the moment. I don't need your fucking pity party, although it's nice to be able to have it every once in a while for myself. But I don't need everybody pitying me. That's humiliating. I don't like people staring at me. The fact that there's blood on the back of my fucking light-ass colored pants right now, how embarrassing. How embarrassing for me. I'm just so degraded. And I understand I'll bounce back. It doesn't matter. God will always protect me. The real God, the real loving, true God. Instead of all this crazy shit about everybody fighting over a child. Oh, if you want him, you can have him. You are not gonna make me jump through any goddamn hoops. I just shit that motherfucker out. That was the most painful fucking thing I've ever felt. And you can have him. I already had my time with my Tootsie. I'm good. He'll realize what he lost, what he missed out on. None of my business. None of my business that you're going around destroying lives. I should have never had Tootsie, but she was just an accident. She was just a blessing in disguise, right? As a curse. Because in actuality, her loss scarred me for life. As well as the loss of my poodle. So I tell people, do not get attached to things. Do not get attached to too much. And that's why I was like, why would you bust my car window? Why would you do that? Are you okay? Like, are you okay? Do you need a timeout? Are you alright? You're just being naughty like that. You okay? Are you alright, buddy? Aw, you're not okay? You're not okay? Do we need to corral all of you people? Just like put you in a pen so you can slaughter each other, just get it all out, just like Battle Royale? Like you guys just kill each other off until you finally have peace? Like, I think that's what you need to do. Corral all these negative people. Truly, just like, truly. The ones that are violent. The ones that are truly that take and destroy and yeah, I've broken some things. Did I give them back? I try to give back to them? Yes, I did. You know, there are times when I was growing up, I didn't have weed. I didn't have that to chill the fuck out. What did I have? I had pharmaceuticals. Fucking all this meds and shit trying to trip me the fuck out. And there I am breaking everything around me and people are like, calm the fuck down. You don't even know, man. The chemicals in my fucking brain are telling me, snap. Fucking snap. So even like when I had my suicide attempt, I didn't have any meds in my system. I was just so fucking sad. You should have seen that. You should have seen I wasn't some slutty little girl. Even if I had tits at that time or whatever, and I wasn't trying to lie or manipulate anything. I was just a cute little girl that was truly getting abused. And my body was so nice prior to getting violated. I was a very attractive young lady until everyone started ragging on me and starting complaining that I was just a little not so pretty. My mother would tell me constantly, every day, like, all these things. She would make sure to mention all of my flaws. Believe me, I know my flaws. It's been beaten into my fucking head. And of course that's emotional scarring that people can, you know, get their children taken away for all the psychological damage. But back then, that didn't exist. People didn't comprehend why people inevitably acted out, why society was going into a shithole, because they weren't thinking about people individually or their circumstances or their life or their upbringing or the fact that they were being placed in these dangerous and toxic situations. Oh my God, last night, let me tell you, I was laying down and it was right after I had, you know, I think, yes, it was right when I was uploading the video and all I could hear echoing in my brain and in my ear canal, in my, what is that, cochlear, you know, just a vibration in there of him crying out and it echoing through their halls. It sounded so real. Sounded like I was right next to it. Like I was right next to it. It was so clear as day. It's like a bell. Like chiming. Where are you? Oh God, it's so painful. People don't believe me that I have these, like, I just heard it. It was so loud to me. Just the voices of the children that have passed through my vessel, you know? And it's so much more beautiful than a man just jacking off in a woman. They could never comprehend what that's like, that attachment. Until, of course, later on when they realize they need to have remorse toward abusing those children. Mostly sexually. Because they couldn't contain themselves. They couldn't hold off for a moment, you know? Jesus. That's traumatic. And people are like, you don't have PTSD. You're right. I do not. I denounce all of that, right? I don't have any of it. Because if I say I have it, then I have all these issues with people trying to bring up all my trauma. What? I just wanted to talk about it. Like, I know I don't feel good when I talk about this stuff or think about this stuff. And the past is the past, though. Everybody tells me, just forget about it. And I even told the detective, the past is the past. And that's why when they carted him away, that was the past. That happened. That is not the future. That is not what's happening right in front of me. I take everything moment to moment, and people don't understand that. They don't comprehend what the fuck I'm saying, because I tell them, I'm sorry, I need a moment. I have to gather my fucking thoughts, because all the shit from the past has adjusted my perception of what might happen in the future, and that might cause me to refrain from engaging with that, or to be avoidant, or adjusting it slightly so that I don't get that hurt later on, when that's part of the past, essentially. So I try to see things from not just one step ahead, but like 20 steps ahead, okay? And I know my vision is good. Someone had mentioned something about, there was a nice officer. He said, because I said I didn't need contacts or glasses. And he said, 20/20 vision? I said, actually, yeah. Last year I went and got checked, and they said that I had 20/20 vision. So I'm not sure where in that I ended up from. My last one was when I was a child, very young, and approximately like the 5th grade, 6th grade. Yeah, I think it was OLA where it happened. But in the 6th grade, when they did our testing, and they said I had 20/30 vision, and it could have just been because I was slightly off that day or something. But when I was there at the doctor last year, 20/20, so I'm not seeing anything that I'm not seeing. Everything is there, tangible to me and everyone else, and that's why I started recording it. So when the detective told me you can't record the conversation with CPS or DFCS or whatever it's called, I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's a violation of my constitutional rights. So what is this? Like my psychologist said, is this a republic? Are you saying that you're away from the federal government? Are you saying that all of these things that you've done to me, that's what Arkansas did too? So what you're saying is that you're a detachment of the federal government, and the federal government handles things just a little bit differently. So I thought we were all a union. I thought that we were all united states. Instead, we're all fighting for whatever rules and regulations or stipulations are going on in that state, like in the statutes of limitations. So I'm not sure where to fall under this, because when I was raised in Wisconsin, they told us about the laws that were in the federal government about, being good, and not just our jurisdiction, not just Beloit. So I don't understand why you're taking away from my constitutional freedoms. And when I was speaking out for years, and the only time that I was detained in psychiatric hospitals was in Arkansas, because they said that I was acting out too violently. I wasn't acting out violently. Verbally aggressive, yes. And condescending, yes. And why people don't comprehend, you need to let somebody have a fucking bad day. And if they have to get their fucking shit out on you, so be it. Be that bigger person. Accept it and move on. Instead, the people with these badges and these certifications and these degrees want to take a personal fucking, a personal offense to it. And then they destroy your fucking life because they can write you off. Like when that fucking doctor fired me from the clinic 10 fucking years ago, endangering me and my child, never finding out I have preeclampsia for one. Then just wanting to stare at my fucking vagina. And if he couldn't, no one else could? I'm sorry, what? That's why I denied him. I was like, no, you're not gonna see this shit. And my boyfriend's right fucking there. That's disturbing to me. No, thank you. Like, all of it is a sexual thing to me. And I know, they're like, it's not no, dude is a dude. You're still a fucking dude. You get an erection more often in the day than you should. And then it goes away. And you're like, oh, I have remorse for what I've said and done. All these women that I have broke their hearts. And now I'm lonely and alone. Yeah, because you made bad decisions. What am I supposed to tell you? No one's going to coddle you. No one's going to mother you, nurture you after a certain point, because all you did was break their heart continually. All you did was destroy them nonstop. And no wonder people listen to me, because I'm like, it makes perfect sense. All of it makes perfect fucking sense. No wonder people act out, because emotionally they weren't stabilized. Emotionally they didn't have that support system. Like when the the detective stated, he was like, well, no, 85% I understand, but then there is that 15% I don't comprehend. And I was like, well, let me put it to you this way. And everybody's perception is different. They were raised differently. So I told him, I said, not everyone got the privileges or, I don't know what I said. I think it was privileges that other people had of having that emotional support system or any of the type of, a lot of people have someone to vouch for them. I know that when I was younger, I had a lot of people to vouch for me. And so when I got out of high school, there was a lot of promise for me in my life. But I went on to have these shitty relationships because I didn't know any better, because I was abused as a child and thought that I needed to seek comfort, not in the arms of a man so much, but in the form of a relationship, a protection in that way. So I didn't have to seek outside of that relationship for any type of further sort of emotional support or sexual, prowess, or, I don't know, not prowess, but sexual urge. And I'm not really sure what to say. I feel like my reality has been damaged, because even when I filed against certain people, they started looking at it as though I was over filing. I was over disclosing too much about these individuals, and that my word didn't matter because I had already had a record of wanting to commit suicide, which automatically placed me into a category of being mentally unstable. What you needed to understand was these things were true. No one was listening, and no one was seeing it. And I was done dealing with my fucking idiot brother, because I was just over it. My sister had left. I had to be the one to feed everyone, clothe everyone, do all the nurturing and shit. So I already went through that. That's why I'm like, I'm not even surprised that my life went this way, because it was already going to come full circle. I already understood that, because I did not want to have children. I was like, to bring them into a damned world, to bring them into a tainted fucking earth, and to know that I don't have much to offer them, and never really truly will until I get to a certain point, a certain degree. So I knew I had to go through the hardships. I accepted them head on, because I knew that one day I would go pass over and I would be at peace finally. That's what my religious sort of experience was, because I'd passed over and come back. So, and being around all the Catholicism and being around my grandmother, who is very devout, I feel like people don't really understand when you see the devil, and when you're face to face with the devil, and you just have to, accept what the devil is offering you at that moment. It's not necessarily the healthiest thing, but in order to appease everyone for that second and that fragment of whatever span of time that is, and it's not straight line, it's of course cylindrical. Everything comes full circle. So, and I know it's harder to hear me because my window's busted out. They said that one of the places, they weren't going to have the window for another week. That's when they would be able to take my appointment. I was like, man, I'm fucked. Like, you guys really fucked me. If it rains, I gotta go put plastic over it. I gotta do something. Even right now, I've gotta put plastic over it because as I'm driving, it's fucking cold. I'm tired. My uterus is like still contracting. I know I'm not paying attention to any of you people on the side, and I apologize. I know my lives are just me ranting about my life. I don't know why people watch me or even listen to me, because all they do is pinpoint the negative. They don't ever pinpoint the positive. They don't see beyond their stupidity. They've got blinders on. That's what it is. Most people are like this, looking around thinking, no, I'm going to take it word for word. I'm going to see it as it is. No, you're not seeing it as it is. What kind of additives have you had today? Did you have some caffeine today? Did you work off that caffeine? Is that caffeine causing you to have certain chemical imbalances in your brain? Did you end up eating a lot of additives in the foods that you were eating? Were they processed? Did they have artificial substances in them? Did they have a lot of toxic, carcinogens, things that are going to cause you cancer in that later on? Please eat better, do better, work better. I was very concerned about the health and well-being of some of the police officers there in Garland County, and they knew I was not trying to hurt them. I just wanted to be truthful. Like, there are some things you need to hear that a mother needs to tell you that you were not informed of, or even a father needs to sit down and tell you, motherfucker, get your hands out of your fucking pants, and do not touch anyone else. Keep your fucking hands to yourself. And so, I guess people aren't taught properly. And of course, I was taught I was over taught these things. And that's why it became a repetitive trauma. Because not necessarily trauma with everything, but what I mean is like those negative things of don't touch yourself. My parents always had to tell me, stop touching yourself in public and stuff. Stop touching yourself. I wonder why I was doing that. And then of course I got beat. So I had to learn, I have to stop touching myself or I'm going to get hurt. So, and what do you do to these fucking rapists and shit? Nothing. No slap on the wrist. I mean, you give them a title, you're a sex offender, yet they're wandering around in our neighborhoods and stuff with normal people. And I'm like, I thought I was fairly normal. Compared to my family, I wanted to seek help. I wanted to seek an adjustment. I wanted to be reprimanded properly, but to understand what the consequences were going to be for certain things, as well as, and that's why somebody said, I guess you don't understand how much you can say. No, I guess I can't. I didn't realize that, even reporters and everything, they get in trouble because they're just so naive because they're reporting the truth. They're reporting what's factual, what's in other people's realities, what's in their documentation and files, all these records, and they're getting killed because you're not supposed to talk about it. It's there, but you're just not supposed to say anything. So that's the fucking scary part. Since when did that become a violation for me? I thought I was not a terrorist. They acted as though I was a terrorist, obviously, because with all the shit that I had to live through physically, all the psychological trauma, all of those shots and shit that they gave me in the jail, that was unnecessary. What are you talking about? I told you I would calm the fuck down. I was screaming and hollering because you weren't listening to me. Instead of realizing that my child was stolen from me in a really weird way, yes, I wasn't paying attention. Yes, I was on a shit ton of fucking Xanax. All of that lines up. All of this shit lines up in my fucking time frames. All of this stuff, all the meds, all the being on disability, all that shit. They even asked me, where did you get those 90 bars of Xanax monthly? And I was like, I'm pretty sure, was it that place that got shut down for Medicaid fraud in Hot Springs, Arkansas, called Dayspring? Yeah, that's where I went to in 2014. Just so you know, a lot of my records come from there as well. And I'm not stating that the record of being with PTSD is false. She knew. She was like, damn, bitch got fucking her ass beat, and then they carted her off in jail. I was having tremors. I was scared as fuck, going through all of that physical trauma. And the same thing with this, the whole echoing of that fucking, that baby cry. Ew, no thanks. Get it away from me. How traumatic. I just want to sit around and watch some TV. I just want to watch some TV, watch someone else's drama, watch someone else's, horror show. Because my life has already been a shit horror show. My whole life. I know you guys are trying to talk to me, but I can't talk right now. There's too much going on. There's a lot of crazy going on, and I just can't deal with it. People are insane. I can't believe I even tried to suckle him. You know what I mean? Allow him to suckle. I didn't suckle him, obviously. I wanted to give him kisses on his head, but it was so soft. His hair. It was so soft. He was a good baby. I did a good job. Pat on the back. Somebody said, I'm praying for you. I know. People are crazy, and I just don't fight anymore. If that's what you want to do, there you go, Leticia. You did it again. Always with your goddamn mouth. I guess that's why they keep coming back. Ha ha ha. That's funny. Stay away from me. Perverts. So yeah, why is it always my makeup bags and stuff? All the shit that helps me to like sneak by without anybody noticing that I'm fucking ugly. Why? Why is it all this shit? There's nothing in life I want to fight for anymore. I always thought that like at some point I would have some semblance of justice. What is this justice? What is this justice that you say in your world, in this realm? What is that? I haven't really come in contact with that very often. And I just followed along with what they told me. They said it would make it better, and it didn't make it better. Instead, it made it so much worse. I'm like a living suicide. Like, I'm like a ghost. That's what it's like. It's like being hollow. That's why I watch so much Tim Burton and stuff, you know? It's like, I think somebody called me from that area, because it's that area code. I just don't care. They already stole him. They took him away. It has something to do with that, I'm sure. Everything with this child has been nothing but Satan. Satan attacking me. People are like, maybe it's so that you can keep your baby. No, the father never came back. No, you're deranged. If the father leaves and leaves the family behind like that, and it's not like some type of wild animal where the lioness is going to take up and take care of the pride. I mean, if that lioness has been wounded, I've got way too many battle scars, and there's no reason to have been with me. That's why I told him, I beg people, please don't fuck with me. I've already been through enough. I already disclosed way too much just so that you know, hey, I'm not fucking around. Please don't fuck with me. Please don't hurt me any more than I've already been fucking hurt. And it's like, I won't fuck with you. You don't fuck with me. I'm not looking for sexual shit, so please don't look at it that way. If you want some emotional support or something, like, Mama's here. It's crazy. And the fact that I'm so nice to people, I don't understand it. So many times I could have gotten away with stealing from people or, you know, just destroying their lives or murdering them. I'm not going to lie. That's always come across my mind. Certain ways to get one over on someone. I guess it started when my uncle burnt and the house exploded. And understanding that that's not normal. Crispy Uncle Jose, you know? Interesting. And for a child to have to deal with that at a younger age, it's very common for them to have these morbid, very dark senses of humor because they've seen through death. My grandfather passing away, him talking to me and apologizing before he passed, that was traumatic. That was very scary. I mean, the fact that he actually was seeking out, he said, you know, something about, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there. I'm sure that there's a video somewhere. I'm sure that they have that on file. The feds have everything. I mean, they've been watching us inside of facilities for longer than we even fucking knew. So I don't understand why I have to lie about it or hide it. And I don't know why people didn't understand it in the time frame that I did, or to see the things that I noticed that weren't normal. That's why people say there's cameras in the birds. Well, I mean, yeah, drones and shit like that, they existed. There's some shit out there. Yeah, they can place tiny cameras on that shit or whatever too, even if it is organic matter. And I say that because I know that there are some things that are genetically modified. So, androids and such. I don't really understand or comprehend it all because I didn't delve into it. I didn't go into that side of like science, but I really wish I could have. I wish I would have had more in my life to help me stabilize myself financially And because I did it so often on my own, I was just like, I didn't want any help from any man. You know, the swelling has gone down in my feet so much. Like, it's just gone. All of it. The swelling is starting to go down in my body. I guess it was because of all the excess fluid and the uterus and everything. I gushed a lot of fluid. I had no idea that giving birth was that disgusting. And it was horrifying. And it still is, because I'm bleeding. And there's some slight pain, but you live through it. You live through it. It's just your battle scars. And it's none of my business that there's no reward at the end. No gold medal. No honorable, you know, what is that called? What is that called? Medal of Honor at the end of something like that. No, men just want to do it for killing each other, like, okay, and seeing trauma, but you don't realize giving birth to a baby is like fucking traumatic as fuck, like, and it goes through your body, and it's like, what the fuck? And most people are like, no, I would totally understand, like, I would totally get it. No, you fucking wouldn't. Even in my fucking, I'm 35 years old, and I still was like horrified at the entire process. You know, I understood it. I had gone through it. I had had reproductive classes or whatever when I was younger. I didn't want to experience it, any of the giving birth part or anything. What the fuck? No, thank you. That looked painful as fuck. I was trying to avoid it. And then that happened, and I thought, well, give this one an opportunity at life, because I had already taken life by aborting my first child, and I just felt like that was another cycle, and my daughter was somewhere in between then. I mean, how much more can I take? How much more can I just sort of write off and say, it's for a grander purpose, there's greater purpose in life? And it's like, I don't know. I guess that's why everybody's so cynical all the time. It makes perfect sense. As I tell everyone, I'm cynically optimistic. They're like, don't think that way. I'm sorry, did you live through my life? You did? You walked every fucking step in my flip-flops, in my flippy floppies, right here. These ones I've had. You gonna steal these now? Oh, because I've had them for so long? Oh my Jesus. Oh, the longer I hold on to something, the one things I appreciate, the things I adore. Let's steal them from her. You're crazy. Display your crazy. Please. Please go on. It actually makes for great TV. You know, it makes for great entertainment. I really don't know what to tell you. Why would they go through the few things that they go through? Why is it always my random hygiene kits? What is, are you okay? Do you realize I've told you the truth? Do you realize I'm not using someone else's urine or using someone else's blood? What do you think I'm doing? Injecting my veins with someone else's blood to give you, and then that's why it's so pure? There's no fucking additives like that. There's no fucking, why this girl? Chemical imbalances, I'm sure you could fucking even check that through all of that documentation. God damn it! We fucked her life up? Well, then that's a federal fucking crime and shit. So then what the fuck? Because they didn't take care of the jurisdictions. Wait a second. She's on to something. That's crazy. That's just so crazy it might be true. It might be factual. Wow. She just wanted to go to school. She was just a young girl trying to live on and afford for herself, and she just wanted a boyfriend a couple times. And was she trying to slut around? No, not at first. Then the divorce came, and all hell fucking broke loose, and she just didn't know how to cope. And people didn't realize it had a lot to do with the fact that the child that she bore, the child that came out of her, and sure, it wasn't as painful because I had the epidural. Do I recommend epidurals? No, I don't. Now, I went through natural and I went through an epidural. I don't recommend it at all. I was left with residual pain in my, and sharp nerve, like damage in my sciatica, on my right side, my sciatic nerve. I couldn't sit for lengthy periods of time. I actually had like a bit of a hydrocodone problem afterward, because I was like, you know what, I can't even sit. And I'm pretty fucking sure that they prescribed some hydrocodone while I was breastfeeding. And they said that it was fine for my daughter. I'm nearly positive for that. I'm pretty sure the time frames add up, because I breastfed and didn't stop breastfeeding for 13 months. So if there were things that were prescribed to me during that breastfeeding time, you could probably also sue for that. because who the fuck gives hydrocodone to a fucking bitch? Because they want you to be dead. They want you to be dead. They want your children to die off. So they have no hope for you. They have no hope for your offspring. There's something in your file, like you've obviously given up. You've got borderline personality disorder or something. So where you just, and they're just like, okay, write off. Check, please. This one's done. She's baked. She's fully baked. That's pretty funny. I'm like, where did I leave my pipe? Just don't put it down in the shards of glass. There's tiny little shards everywhere. And I'm like, who cares? They get in your skin. It's just part of that whole healing process of this entire experience. That's how I deal with it. I'm like, there's not a whole lot that I can say or do. I really don't know why I did a live, aside from just I didn't want to finish uploading it. I don't really know why people are like trying to say anything. It really doesn't affect me anymore. I know, I don't really care. After a certain point, you become just dead to the world, like it has been to you. You know? The world is just dead to me because they don't know how to process things. They don't know how to be professional about things. They don't know how to do their jobs properly. They don't know how to express themselves properly or to communicate openly. And that's confusing for me. That's confusing for someone like me that wears their heart on their sleeve, that just wants to help others, just wants to. They knew I was a humanitarian when they did all that research when I was a young girl, you know, in high school. I'm not stupid. I know that you went back to all of that. I knew that you had all of my records for those presidential fitness exams that I just didn't bother. Why was I gonna excel in that shit? Boys were looking at my titties, and I was traumatized. So, no. And one of them grabbed at them, and all this stuff. Like, I didn't need that. So that's why when I had my boyfriend, I figured, you know, that's where your love goes, is one person, and no one else will touch you and stuff, and your people will stop touching you if you've got a boyfriend. And for the most part, that happened, you know, because nobody wanted to offend him. So I really appreciated that. And I was, it was sort of always a protective measure for me because my family's crazy. They say brothers are there to protect their sisters. Angel was the only one that actually like truly protected my my dignity in that way, my respectability. But then after a certain point, when he called me a whore the other day, I was like, man, he's really kind of fucked up. Why would you even say that? Like, you whored around probably more than I did, like especially with the random people you did, and the fact that you were fucking a toddler. I don't know what you're talking about, you know? And people talking about, no, it's okay to jack off to every girl. If you add up all the times that you jacked off to all these different things, that energy that you put out and dispersed, okay, imagine how much of a whore you are. Even the fact that you're just, and that's why they said, if a young man's doing it, you know, let them do it with their imagination and not allow all of this toxic behavior, because you're just feeding the beast. You're just enabling these people to become monsters. You give them too much, you allow them to get too much of that oxytocin, that dopamine, that rush, and and then what? Then they go seek more and more and more and more until they're choking themselves with a belt on a fucking doorknob, you know? Gotta get that last fix, man. Or fucking shoving stuff in their bum hole that they can't pull out themselves because it seemed like it was large enough to make him feel good. And I've done that with my coochie. I'm not gonna lie. I've got all kinds of shit behind my fucking... I've done some crazy stuff. I would be asleep and my dog would be licking me down there and I just wouldn't stop it. I'd be like, okay, yeah, you can clean it up. I'm not fucked up about that. And I did it for maybe too many years than I should have, because I was just like, it's gross down there. There's fluid. I'm not getting any sexual pleasure from it. So that was bestiality right there. But you live and learn, and you get over it. People live and learn. I came from a very like simplistic family. My father was Hispanic. We did a lot of organic things, natural things. He would use alcohol, rubbing alcohol on everything. All wounds, everything, cleaning stuff. I'm not fucked up about disclosing my truths entirely to the world. I'm not. I mean, that's where people get that embarrassment, try to hold it in within themselves, like, oh my God. No, God knows. people around you know. Just because you didn't disclose it doesn't mean the energy's not there. And it was sort of like an innocence thing. Yeah, it was gross. Yeah, you know, people do that. They're like, haha, that's like, feels good. Like, hey, buddy, you know, people letting them lick their balls. I mean, if it's not a sexual, I don't know. I mean, dogs are weird. And so they go after all this stuff and they want our germs in that way of wanting to clean them for us. I don't know. Why would you want to eat somebody's germs? I don't know why dogs are like that, or some animals. So, but even with that, and I get off on a tangent because I think it's hilarious. Everybody's done weird stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, we've all done things out of curiosity, even when they said about me cutting the rabbit open. Yes, I was sad he had died. I didn't want any of my other rabbits to die like that. That was like scary for me because I couldn't fix it. It wasn't something that I was able to fix myself. Which generally I researched everything. We went to the library. I went and I read all these books on rabbits, and they know because they saw the types of books that I would check out. They have record of everything. They literally, the federal government has record of everything you've fucking done from the moment you're born, from the moment you fucking die. Okay? So I don't know why there's any questions about anything. And that's why I said about the electronics and how they was a way of being able to monitor us prior to, which was a violation of our privacy, especially as young ladies. So I thought that was odd as well, because I was like, why are you grouping us? Why are you breeding programming us? You know, Heil Hitler, right? That's what's going on here in the US. Jesus Christ. I'm so fucking tired. And so I don't even talk about like anything but myself. That's it. I just don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to deal with the outside world. I've already had enough trauma. I don't want to deal with it. I already am too open, and most people think it's hilarious because we've all been there. We've all done certain things. And to be humiliated for the rest of your life over it, to have that scar and to take it out on other people, that's not right. That's why I joke around about this stuff and disclose it. There was something else I was going to disclose too before I told you about my bestiality. And of course, marks of the devil. Like, if you don't stop that stuff and repent, of course, you're fucked up. Of course, I repented years ago, and my dog's head was chopped off for it. I don't know. I still say that was part of that. For real. That dog couldn't have ate just the fucking head. For a while there, I thought it. There is no way she ate just the fucking head. If she would have devoured the dog, she would have ripped it in the middle. I know how dogs work. I've seen pack mentality. It would not be just the fucking head, and she just chomped it down. She came up to me all butterball, like wagging her tail. Bitch had snacks on snacks on snacks every day. I'm pretty fucking sure she's just gonna snap knowing that I'd spank her. And it wasn't even like a harsh spanking. Like, you just have to deal with people one-on-one and be like, okay, are you done? Are you done jacking off in the corner? Are you done, you know, throwing your fucking semen in people's faces? I don't know. Like that fiance I had, I pissed him off and he came and he threw his fucking cum in my face. Pretty sure that's fucking abuse. I was just done with him. I was fucking with him and he was pissed. So then he ended up, so I got mine, got up and went and slept on the couch because I was pissed at him. I mean, you should be able to do that as in a relationship or whatever, just to own your own body. And I know we were arguing about stupid shit probably, but I'm sure he wanted to finish. But he was just so, his mentality was so barbaric too. That's why I just don't care about disclosing this stuff. And then he jacks off in his hand and throws it in my fucking face as I'm sleeping on the couch. Like, he woke me up and was like, here, fuck you. So, damn. No wonder I have a fucking complex about everything. No wonder everything just like, that got out of hand pretty quickly. You can't just calm down for the night. No, dudes can't. He literally would 60 mark. He would pick me up and throw me against the fucking wall, and I would bust my back on the wall. I'm like, God damn, what did I do to deserve all that? Yeah, delving into all this shit. Yeah, bestiality is probably a part of it. Not everyone has done that. I get that. But I was a very heavy sleeper, so it just became a part of the routine. And I was like, whatever. I just don't care. Waking up to it, I just don't care. There's a lot of shit that I just don't fight anymore. Just like disclosing the truth. That's why I get out every truth before the end. Because I know I've told people about this stuff, I know I've told therapists or priests about these things and the fact that I've done this stuff. And that I want to tell people about it. Because I'm like, you know what? If I tell people, then I'm less likely to do it. Again. Because that's humiliating. If you're shamed, it's like the walk of shame, just bare ass naked. You know, and you're walking through the streets and people are throwing rocks at you. And, I mean, that's alright. I really don't care. I'd rather be fully honest with people and be like, yeah, okay, that's not normal behavior. None of us had normal behavior if we came from toxic families. So that's why I was trying to help my children out to understand you don't need to have those emotions toward things that aren't necessary. Oh, I was telling you about injecting shit inside of yourself. I'd find weird stuff to stick in me. I took my Barbies, put a rubber glove on their legs, and put that inside of me. I mean, that's weird stuff. I did some weird shit as a child. I watched some really weird fucking HBO at night because my parents had that for some reason. And it was attached to my sister's room. And I was like, I didn't understand, okay? I don't know. But I watched some crazy shit. I saw some people that would weigh their boobs. And I was like, man, I want some big boobs. So I always thought that. I was like, yeah, big boobs, they get you a lot of stuff in life. Not if they're fucking gross and frumpy mom boobs that are all saggy now. Ugh. I mean, I still get whatever respect that, you know, tits deserve. But the fact of it is like, I saw some really messed up stuff on TV. I watched Sex and the City at a very early age. I was still, let's see, like the 4th grade or something. And so it was very, like 4th and 5th grade, all of that. This when we lived out in Afton, and it was attached to my sister's room. And I would sit there very late at night when everybody was like gone, or I really not sure why her room was alone sometimes. I guess like he would go out for walks late at night, and I'm not sure what that was about, but I remember having access to it late at night sometimes, and I would watch all of this stuff, or it was like right before bedtime that this stuff would come on, and I would watch like cab sex, whatever, cab stories or some shit like that too, and there was a lot of prostitution and everything, so I learned a lot. I was like, whoa, this stuff is really gross and toxic. And also too, I knew that women were becoming like more dominant due to the Sex and the City thing, and that they were establishing that they had their will to, you know, fornicate, I guess. It was it's upon them. It's their choice. It's their body. That's why I try to shame sex workers, but at the same time, it's like, quit violating yourself. Quit violating others. We wouldn't have this issue if you didn't fall prey to the devil and just allow all this shit to have happened, and all of these toxic fucking in and out sex trafficking rings, and, you know, child pornography, and all of this child trafficking, sex trafficking. What? That's scary. And you just feed into the devil like that? What? And some of these people are like high up there? No. Go kill yourself. Like, really, go kill yourself. That's not okay. If you're at that point where you're hurting other people like that, you need to just go die. Like, go away. That's not okay. And I try to tell people, like, just you do it. Why should I have to kill myself as a good person? Why should I have to kill myself for seeing and witnessing you do this stuff and not repenting? Like, there's a huge difference. Of course I was sorrowful. Of course I knew every time I had sinned, or even had my dog lick my cooch, or woken up to it and just didn't stop her. Like, okay, I'm sweaty down there, whatever. I don't know. And then the tampons everywhere. That poor dog. She ended up going blind and having no teeth. I think that was her karma too, and my karma for being gross together. I always say that because I'm like, every bit of people's story is relevant, because even in the day and age where my father grew up in Mexico, and he would tell me things about, you know, people fucking sheep or shit like that, you know, he knew it from a very simplistic mindset. He didn't even have all this shit on TV. So I bet he was blown away when he was like, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that had this fucking issue. I'm not the only one that thought that toward even their own children, because they were confused about, you know, the pheromones, confused about why they were having like an arousal toward having the child. Why is it arousing them? But it's really, in actuality, it's the arousal of having had that with the mother, and then that was your offspring. So, but a mother detaches that. She has a different form of looking at it, so she doesn't actually get sexually aroused by it. But men actually do. And it's like, oh my God, like you actually get the physical sense of arousal. And that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. And so I understand why pedophilia is a thing. I understand why people get confused. And even with their own grandchildren, they're still kind of like, they don't understand because it's your genetic material. And sometimes even that, if you're not even related, and these people, they sense any type of relative, like the DNA, right? It's about the pheromones, it's about the physiological changes of the brain, the way it gets morphed, the way you get oxytocin, the way that you're having that state of mind. When people are aroused by certain features of, say, children, like myself, and they can't manage to refrain from that urge to want to engage with it, engage, penetrate, fondle, because in their mind, they're satiating themselves. And then when they wake up from that, they're like, oh my God, what did I do? And a majority of people feel sorrowful. And instead of taking it out and thinking, okay, if I stop that behavior, I won't feel that again afterward, they do it as a repetitive thing because they get angry that they had done it the first time, instead of realizing it's okay. Like, you can understand. I understand I got confused. I will never do it again. Same thing with this. I was screaming out, never again, when I was giving birth. And then I realized, oh my God, the female officer had a live fucking cam on her. She had a fucking camera. And she was standing there staring at my cooter for everyone to fucking witness. And I was like, oh my God, what a violation. What a violation, right? Somebody would normally be violated by that. But I disclosed everything to everyone, because there is a lot of shit that we were confused about even growing up in our, suburban homes, that we were confused about why we had affection for our brother, why we had affection for our relative, our cousin, or whatever. And then a lot of the inbreeding happened between the royals. And all of this is a part of our history. All of this is a part of our future, about understanding these things and comprehending some things are not okay. So of course I had those faulty behaviors when I was younger. And of course I had known, even with my father growing up with like the dirt poor, my mother even said that my grandmother was using some type of big metal lid to something in order to cook their food on the fire. I bet when she saw a stove, she was like, oh my God, this is like, whoa. I can't even imagine. And my mother came from something that she understood that came from her everyday life. And she's like, it's just a fucking stove. But then she became more appreciative. She was so grateful that she had those luxuries growing up and understood them, the advancements in technology. And then my other side of the family were like barbarians, or like Cretans, or not Cretans, but like nomadic people, or not even nomadic. It's not nomadic. It's indigenous peoples. And so these people that weren't cultured in the ways of whatever proper society was like. So I got the best of both worlds. That's why I was disgusting. That's why, the things that I had done, it was like, to me, it's all right. I mean, I came from two different mindsets, and I came from this, like, what would you call it? What are they called? Neanderthals type of, very, very simplistic, barbaric, very crude, sort of just raw and from the earth types of people. And then my mother came from society. So that's where I got that confusion, because I could have been raised in Mexico. I would have never survived. I would have been sex trafficked immediately, because my fair skin and my green eyes. So I don't know what would have happened with all of that. But then I was dying too, and my father barely wanted to sustain me, because he was like, advanced medicine, what are you talking about? That's just bills on bills on bills. So then my mom had to learn all this stuff about helping get us assistance, and then we had all of our doctor's visits taken care of through the government. And so I just figured I was the government's property after a certain point, and then going to school. But I went to private school. I thought there was like a difference with all of that. but then all the same testing goes on in private schools as it does in public. So, I mean, yeah, you live and you learn, and then you just disclose it to the world. Why should I have a fucking mark on me? I'm sorry. Also, what did you do in your past? Hold on, let me go through your Rolodex real quick. What did you do? Oh, and did you have filthy thoughts toward your cousin? Toward your mom? Gross, you filthy pervs. And then it's like, but you actually jacked off to it? Ew, you're sick. Ew. And they call us perverts. At least I was able to reframe and disengage. My aunt's rabbit on the Hispanic side would hump my hand. I was very confused. At first I didn't understand what it was. And then I realized, oh my God, he's got a tiny little penis. And I wanted to see the penis. I was like, what's inside of a rabbit's penis? Like, why does it look like that? And of course I was very young, like I said. I was still in grade school. But kids get curious. And I was having some weird stuff too. And so when people tell me too, when they play doctor, I was like, well, yeah, I'm sure I did it plenty of times, but I detached a lot of that. But I remember getting naked in front of my brothers and lying down on the bed, and because they wanted to see. I didn't necessarily want to see their penises though. So I don't remember any of that. I never remembered like asking them to see their penises. I was always like, okay, I've seen it on animals. Okay, I know what that does. I know that the females in this, and like I saw birthing very early on from animals. So you just live and learn. Like, you come from an animalistic background, you're gonna have, I just want to go to sleep. That's why I talk about this stuff. I'm like, whatever, keep your babies. I don't care. They're all part of a grander government experiment anyway. Fuck it. I look at it from your perspective, like it's a gift to you. I already know it was a gift to the universe. There you go. You can contaminate him all you want. The father didn't care. So he wasn't there to protect him. He didn't give a shit. So there was no protective measure over him. There was no cloak of invisibility. Yeah. There was no salvation that came for that child. And that's why the echoing rang in my ear last night of him crying out for me. No tears. No more tears. You just gotta push past it. Push past. There's no such thing as post-traumatic stress disorder, isn't that right? December 4th. You just gotta look at things from the male perspective. You do. And people don't realize that that's still what rules the world, is that male mentality. So, that masculine mentality. I learned early on, and I had to pick up on it because my father treated us all the same as little boys. So I just had to do what they did, the same chores. I had to do the same back-breaking work, and then at the same time I was learning from the inside, where I had to still cook and clean, and I was getting the best of both worlds right there, right? Discipline everywhere. And then you still have the confusion of all these emotions and all these feelings that you have. And that's why I just didn't bother. I mean, I didn't do any of that weird stuff when I was a kid, aside from trying to stick Barbies in me and stuff. Shit happens. People do weird stuff. I'm gonna tell you, one of my boyfriends, one of my first boyfriends, told me that he liked to put his penis on the countertop and rub it because it felt good. And I was like, do what you gotta do. That's hilarious. Like, that's why I would talk to them. I would open up to them, and I would be like, what? That's so weird. You guys are weird. Like, you guys do some weird stuff. I did some weird stuff, yes, sticking weird stuff in me, but then also guys do it in their butt all the time. And who does that with so many drugs? Like, who smuggles drugs in their butthole? You think people aren't gonna notice? My cooter hurts. And my uterus hurts. It's okay, it'll be okay. Everything will get back to normal, and then I can just forget about everything. I've repented. Here you go. Here's your child. Give it to the Lord. Eat it up like the hyenas that you are, and the vultures. Picking him apart piece by piece. Destroying his poor little mental state. Already. like we don't already know that I just didn't care. Like, I'm in denial of all of it. I don't know what's going on with people. I really don't. I'm surprised that they did not help me. I cut all of that very early on, cut the cord, because I knew the moment that they turned it around on me. And so that's why I thank December 4th for giving me that one message back on March 9th. People wonder why I know these dates so well. People wonder why I keep track of things so well, but it's because when a trauma happens, I keep track of it. When something happens in a pleasurable way, I keep track of it because I want to remember those moments in the future so that I know and I learn from them. That's why I enjoy all the holidays all the time. I love that they made daily holidays and, you know, these national holidays and preservation days or whatever, acknowledgements, honors. I think that's nice to be able to understand it from both ends. Why we had, you know, why we had Hitler, in order to engage us on an emotional level that most of us didn't realize we had. To have compassion for someone that you don't know, you know, the people that have lost through that, the people who lost families, the people that truly went through hell, the people that they thought they needed to be punished because of the fact that, you know, however many years ago they punished someone else. And what does go around come around, you know, everything goes around. But if you just try to balance the cycle of evening it out, trying not to steal and rob from each other, it becomes more stable, if that makes any sense. And that's why I stopped doing all that crazy stuff, to become more stable. And people were like, no, stability is in money. Stability is in having a 9-to-5. No, that's where your mental health gets all fucked up, and then you do the crazy stuff that I just talked about. Like, really? Wow. Wow. Some people got too much time on their hands, and they talk about me. They're talking about me needing to get a job. My job is dealing with the world around me. My job is avoiding all of you, because all you do is gaslight me, abuse me, and leave me for fucking dead. I am done. I don't want to deal with nobody. Even these people they're so nice and they offer me money. I appreciate you. Like, thank you very much. That's a blessing. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. I just know that in the whatever tangible realm, I should have gotten money for the things that happened in the judicial systems, like, and also the criminal records and stuff, as well as the medical shit that they did to me. I just know that part of it. I would be living very comfortably, would not have had to disclose all of this had people just done their jobs properly. So I try to tell people, okay, here's some shock value. Here's what this is. This is reality. Like, and then also there's some more reality. I'm shocking you all into a state of awareness that you had no idea was so uncomfortable, because people go through this stuff. Why? Because they're deemed as mentally ill for opening up about these things. And that is not okay. That is a crime against humanity. And we should be able to disclose shit openly and honestly so we can move on. Instead, you harass us, and it's like, some of us could open up and we could totally be at peace before we die. But we don't want to. We harbor that resentment. We don't want to tell anybody, yeah, we molested this child. Yeah, we did this because, you know, I was in a fragile state of mind. Some of it can be written off. Some of it can be if you have changed, altered your reality to never do that again. Murder, you know. Sometimes you get so violent with someone because they have pushed you over the edge so many times. My boobs hurt. Just a little bit, like on the nipples. That guy's bald head and beard reminds me of my ex-husband's dad. He's like a biker style guy. I kind of had respect for him because he just never talked and he never looked at me weird, and like he was just kind of nice. But and I never had any issues with like him personally, so that's why I don't talk shit about him, because I mean, he raised a shit son, obviously, the way his son treated and manipulated a woman, so he wasn't around enough to be able to discipline him properly. And I always thought my ex-husband was just being goofy. I always just thought, like, he's not manipulating me, like, he's just a goofball. No, he was a fucking maniac. That's a psychopath thing to do, to leave loaded guns with someone that you deemed was mentally ill and unstable. And even if he forgot the guns, no, you didn't forget the guns. You didn't. There were times where you recalled it. So, or probably were even asked by your grandfather. So, but there's none of that on fucking feed, because the grandfather doesn't use electronics like that, so it would have been face to face, which means that the only people that would have been listening in are all the recordings of people's conversations. And I do believe, people are like, no, that's too much work. It's too much work not to. So they had to be able to have recording in places we don't even know. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. And that's a violation of our privacy, which is against our constitutional rights. So I tried to explain to people, like, all this stuff was already being monitored for us, and we don't have privacy. And I try to echo that out, because I was getting the echoes of confirmation, especially while I was in the jail, because of the metallics. Because of the metallics. I know people don't believe me, and I was like, no, you don't understand. Even that tooth that I had with the metal, I heard things that I shouldn't have heard. I understood what was going down. That's why I had dreams about my grandfather and my uncle dying, you know? So, prior to them dying. And that, I do believe, was right after I'd gotten that placement of that tooth. So, I had already had that tooth for quite some time. I do believe that the metallics have a lot to do with how you engage those additives, those injections, those vaccines. The metallics that they inject into our systems have a certain frequency and vibration, and that's why we can pick up on things. That's why you can pick up on us, and that's why you can pinpoint and target us, and satellite, surveillance, all of that, and be able to see us through walls sometimes. So, I don't know, somebody was calling me right now. I tell people, like, I just don't want to deal with it anymore. And that's why I video myself as I'm doing stuff, because then you understand. I'm not trying to avoid you. I'm not trying to resist you. I just, you know what I mean? Like, I want to engage, but I'm not feeding on those breadcrumbs anymore. I'm not eating your breadcrumbs. All these little breadcrumbs of you just trying to make me believe, oh, it's going to be better. No, if it were better, it would all be here. It would all be here. This wouldn't be my reality. He wouldn't have been rolled away. Then they want us to make attempts. Okay, you have avoidant personality disorder. That means you've got to confront this, and no, I don't. That means I have to run away, because you obviously don't understand what that word means, avoidant. And the fact that I've already been traumatized. Apparently you don't know what that means. Apparently you don't know what that diagnosis is, and that's a crisis mentality of, like, that is a crisis, like people that go through that, but it doesn't matter because I didn't have kids. And then also too, when I had kids, you're like, you don't get the kids because you're tripping the fuck out. You're smoking too much weed. What? People do it all the time. They just don't say anything. People do shrooms when they have fucking babies inside of them. They don't say anything. They drink for the first however many weeks of pregnancy, or the entire pregnancy, and no one says no one bats a fucking eye. And I'm the one that gets reprimanded for telling you. I'm sorry, whatever. Fuck you then. It's none of my business. Like, it's just my business that I didn't do the wrong thing. And I know that my salvation was also his salvation. So I did my best. And I did my best all alone. I did my best with all these predators around. I did my best when all of these things were being shoved in my face. Fucking crack. Fucking, was it meth? What was it? No, it was meth. That pipe that he had, that he hit right next to me, I was like, Are you okay? Like, don't do that shit. Quit being weird. And yeah, the shrooms. But you know, psychedelics are good for people with PTSD. And I figured, fuck it, if he's this early on, and I know development, and I know this, they said the heartbeat, and I didn't know if I was going to get an abortion still or not. I was like still tripping about it. So, and the dad never got back to me, or who I thought was the dad. I don't really care. December 4th, December 2nd, December 9th. I don't know. Fuck all of you. And I honestly don't believe it was anywhere of the 9th. But they're like 3 people in a week. I don't know. You have your DNA. You have your answers. What more do you need from me? Nothing. You need nothing. Like, you need absolutely nothing from me. So even if it wasn't December 4th and it was December 2nd, it doesn't matter to me. It matters to you. It matters to everyone else. That's why they categorize us and classify us and do all this crazy other nonsense. Anyway, this is getting to be an hour and a half of me ranting. And I have not looked at any of these comments. Most of them are probably crazy as fuck. And it's like probably calling me some type of bestiality fucking shit. I don't know. I don't really care. I really don't care. A lot of people are too pussy ass little bitches to be able to disclose the truth because they're so ashamed, and then they always have that bit of shame and they take it out on others. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be ashamed. I know these things about myself. Other people can know them too. I don't care. Yes, I did that. Yes, I apologized, especially to God and to those around me. I sought forgiveness because, like in the Catholic faith, it says to your brothers, look to your brothers and sisters for forgiveness. So I just saw the world as my brothers and sisters, regardless of the religious aspect of it. That it was sort of a spiritual thing. That I have to apologize, make amends. That's why I told people. I even said, I'm sorry as he popped out of my vagina. That's exactly what I fucking said. Because they told me don't push. And I said I couldn't. And I was sorry. Because I was like, oh my God, I just cannot. And I guess, I mean, babies' heads get decapitated like that? Whoa, that's crazy. I'm so glad my body rushed it, but didn't rush it that badly. Like, that would have been so traumatic to just, like, see his little head rolling off, like, as I'm giving birth to him, like, and all I wanted to do, like, they plopped him on my chest. I didn't really, they said, do you want to hold it? I was like, yes. Like, you don't even have an instant, you just have to do it, you know? And that's moment to moment. That's how I deal with things. So if you want to take the baby, go for it. None of my business. So, but of course I wanted to keep him. I wish it would have been different circumstances, but it was not. So you just have to live and learn. And I gotta go drop off that stuff in the trunk too. I figured I would just go buy a donation bin and just drop it all off. It's none of my business anymore. I'm not gonna place the effort into something people don't place effort into me with, you know. But it was the whole window smashing thing. Yeah, that's already too much for me to deal with emotionally. So that's why I was initially going to take it back to the hospital to make sure he got it for whatever foster. But now it's too much. It's too much. You're just putting all these cherries on top of the fucking cake. I haven't had that for fucking years. Mine was popped many years before I even had sex for the first time, so. And I don't believe it was myself. Took a plunger once. The end of a plunger. It was metal. It wasn't metal, plastic. And I thought, that would kind of feel good, wouldn't it? And I touched it inside. I'm a pervert. I mean, all people are perverts, but they just don't want to share it. They're like, well, with my fingers, or with my this or that, or, and I used to use things like, and I still do to like this day if I have nothing around, like I'll find like a bottle, like something in the shape of it, make sure it's washed off well, and I just stick it in there for a few minutes. It's not really a whole lot. I don't try to damage myself too much, but as long as it's like the shape of it, fuck it. We're all gross. We're all gross. What are you over there, jacking off to porn? Same concept. Sometimes I just like penetration. I would look up penetration porn a lot, and just to see it, you know, imagine the times that I had it. So I was like, okay, I'm not that grotesque anymore. Years ago I was. And so a lot of people were. I'm 35 years old. I've lived through all this shit. I'm pretty sure I know. I'm just like, ugh. Some people, they don't understand. Like, you can be forgiven for some shit. I held it over my head for too long. I thought I had to be like everyone else. I don't have to be like anyone else. I have to be like myself. And when you traumatize someone to that extreme, and some woman, I don't mean to be so rude, but like, this woman just took away my child, and she was trying to compliment me and saying that I would be a good mother, but you literally just took away my child. Do you realize that I just ripped you apart in so many facets psychologically that you didn't even know? And I think that's why people want to disengage, like that guy Neil from the Crisis Place. I could tell you quite a few things about that interaction that I'm like, oh my God, do you realize how he didn't handle that well whatsoever? And do you realize that he was talking over me and I couldn't even get a word in edgewise? And also, he couldn't understand and comprehend math. What? The same concept with some of these individuals that take care of the social work and these other cases. They don't actually have good common sense. They don't. So they treat everything as it is by the book. They don't see things for what they are face to face. Even the person, I'm telling you, they need to work out. They need to start engaging their muscles so they get the proper amount of blood flow into their brains. I don't mean to be rude, but even truckers and stuff, when they make their fucking mistakes on the road, they think they own the goddamn road. And they're like, well, I've only been driving. I've only been working this. I've only been working. You get off your ass for a little while. Go do some squats because the circulation is not there from head to toe. I know from personal experience in living in my fucking car, when my butt goes fucking numb, you have to engage those muscles. You have to start engaging it. And that's why I try not to speak poorly about physically disabled people, because they're trying their best with what they have. And I'm like, I'm astounded. Holy shit, you're a miracle. Like, you're still running and you have, like, the circulation is poor in your body. That's toxic to the rest of your body. People know this. So the fact that you're cutting off circulation in different points, or like in your feet and things like that, that's why I try to tell people, like, are you all right? Are you okay? Like, all you people, I can find weaknesses as well as I can find strengths in individuals. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like, just, can we not all understand the same concept of the earth around us? That's why I'm so glad about these documentaries that are making it simplistic. All of these, even TikTok videos where people are learning about things in a short amount of time. But get all that shit off that's all toxic. You're just warping everybody's brain and, yeah, causing people to commit suicide. But then again, you're weeding out the weak. You're weeding out those mentally ill that actually see something on a screen and perceive it as being factual. That's why when people engage with me one-on-one, they're like, oh my God, you're very real. Like, you don't even care. Like, you just straight up talk about what you see. And I'm like, yeah, why not? And then I make jokes about it, generally. Like, right now, I'm cramping. Right now, I've been on here. I've got messages I've got to deal with. Ugh. And then I go back and I try. God, I try. Ugh, I try to engage. I can't do it sometimes. Like, it hurts me physically. It hurts me physically to deal with people. My whole fucking body. Like, it just, like, wants to seize up. And I just, tremors, I'm dead. Like a fucking fainting goat. No, thank you. All of it. Fainting goat. I'm done. Too much stimulation. I'm done. And I do that. If it's too much even emotion, like, if I'm too happy, I have to, like, remove some of it so that I can not overstimulate myself. And I get that. I'm, even all the stuff I do. I can't wait to start working out again. It'll be nice. It'll be something to focus on. And people are like, well, you'll be in jail. No, I won't. Leave me alone. Please just leave me alone. We all know I went in front of the judge. He should have said something then. No. And you're going to try to tell me over the phone some BS. No, thank you. No, thanks. I'm done. You people are stolen from me. You've manipulated my reality. You think that I'm undeserving of any kind of compassion. And it's like, all right, I guess I'm not human. I guess I'm a fucking monster. I guess I'm a fucking sent from another planet and you need to destroy me. God. I need to shower. That's all I can focus on right now. Cleaning up. And the pain, it hurts in between my legs, but people have that stuff happen to them all the time. Women have it happen to them all the time. Their babies get it ripped away and they're in worse circumstances where they're in sex trafficking. They gotta get right back to it. I couldn't imagine. That's horrifying. I guess the reason I learned to be able to contort my body in such ways is because I was the only one that could hold myself. Because everybody was so fake. They would hurt you and then they would give you their whatever affection. So anyway, I'm going to get off of here now. I think you guys have had enough entertainment for today, and so have I. In this way, to share and disclose with people the facts, the truth about life and the world around them. And sometimes it's just not fair. And people are like, I'm so sorry for you. I'm not. God does what he wants. The universe does what it wants. And I don't feel like engaging in whatever misbehaviors you've got going on and misguided temperaments and realities and everything. That's why I knew truck drivers, they had their own codes too. So they had their own sort of secret world. And getting to know them, this guy's stretching, I like that. Not I like it like sexy. Like I like it that he's taking care of himself. He went on the side of his truck and he did some stretches. I wish he would do some squats. I know that sounds bad, but I'm like, I'm looking out for you. And you're the one hauling our goods. You are important to us. Like everybody is important in some way or another. And I don't try to disrespect anybody. But then at the same time too, and I know that like when you're in a union as well, and then the men have their own codes and Freemasonry and all that. And I know I could have offended the wrong people just because of my actions or like reactions to men. No, fuck off. I mean, women have their own codes too. And that's why they take care of one another as best they can with compassion, generally. And then realizing too, later on, there's nothing else they could have done. You know, the system does what they do. So, but yeah, that's why I never really had hope for even my daughter. That's why I cried when I found out I was pregnant with her. I was like, no, please God, no. Like, please, not in this world. Please don't be a girl. And when it was a girl, I was horrified. I was like, no, I want to protect you every moment of the fucking day. Every single goddamn fragment of your reality. And then I was all suicidal after his family fucked me up. And I was like, man, I'm not doing good. And my ex-husband was like, yeah, bitch, you're not doing good. You should take your pills. And here's some guns. And if I were trained in it, I would have had like more respect for guns. But I wasn't trained. I've only shot a gun twice. And that was with some dude named Justin right after my abortion. It wasn't right after. It was about a year after my abortion. Almost. I think there was a baby in between the abortion, like months after. There's all documented. I just don't really keep track of everything like that. If it's... Back then, I was trying to just get rid of it. And it didn't go away. So then I started talking about it. And things slowly started to ease up. The pain slowly started to subside. And relinquishing it, like getting it off my chest, was so beneficial. People don't even realize. It's just like a release. Just like when his head popped out, I was like, okay, that's painful still. And then I was like, they was like, push, and then I was like, ugh, finally. And it was that surge of release. I was like, ugh. And then when they got the placenta out, I can't believe they had to give me the Pitocin or whatever. I was like, I think I could have done it naturally, just leave me the fuck alone. But I went with whatever they said, whatever. So, yeah, I didn't like that concept either. Don't inject me with your bullshit. Don't inject me with your bullshit lies. Fuck you. Like you weren't out there fucking playing with your neighbor and doing some fucked up shit. You know? Even if it wasn't some, yeah, relative. If it was just like, okay, if it's not a relative, you're his only child, and you go out there and you still fuck around with other people because you're a narcissist, because you were the only one around. So yeah, I mean, I knew both concepts of that too. Yeah, and then you get fucking stubborn and you think, I own the world. My mommy and daddy love me so much. I'm the only child. I get everything I want, everything I ask for, because there's no one to battle and everything. There's no one to fight. So it's just super easy for me. So I became a fucking psychopath and a sociopath, and I go around hurting people now. Because I didn't have any emotional support growing up, and I had no one to talk to or play with. So, except for myself and my dingling. So, I'm gonna get the fuck off here. It's been enough. I've had enough. That's why I disclosed this shit, because I'm like, fuck it. I'm just like a man. I'm not even trying to persuade anybody anymore. I'm a lady, sure. I've got all the features, and I would prefer to be with a man, but I'm very masculine, and I'll whoop your fucking ass, especially now. Like, give me a couple of weeks. Let me heal. I'll whoop somebody's ass. Just out of fucking anger. Like, my world is fucked up. I'm gonna whoop somebody's ass. And I'm gonna make sure there's no fucking cameras around and shit. Just like, swear to God. I need to throw fucking down. I told him he got startled, the baby. He like got startled. I was trying to throw hands now. He was so cute. Oh my God. He got startled a little bit. I didn't do anything, of course. He was just sleeping. It was just like the violence of having to be born. And at one point too, we were sleeping next to each other, and he woke up crying a little bit, and he like cried himself awake. It wasn't anything I had done. I thought maybe I had done something, and I did doze off next to him. I was very tired after birth, but he was very safe. My daughter was always very safe too. I always made sure, and I'm not one of those that rolls around too much, especially when you've got a duty, and and that was my purpose, was to take care of her. And I don't have any reason to live, so there's no purpose in trying any of that anymore. So like, you steal somebody's kids, they're gonna know, like, they don't want you. They hate you. They want you dead. And I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. The sooner the better. The sooner the fucking better. That's why you want it to be prolonged and just share my story with the world. Alright, you're just displaying your own insanity. That's all you're doing. Displaying your own crazy by doing this shit and manipulating people's realities after you didn't want to see what you had done wrong prior. You didn't want to fix it. You didn't want to compensate for it. And you want me to work for it. Well, I'm sorry, is that hoop flaming over there? How big is it? Oh, about that size. You could burst into flames jumping through it? Oh, okay. No, thank you. My poodle ass hair just catch on fire. That's what I think, just like poodles jumping through flaming hoops. What? No. Death-defying. Death-defying. Alright, everyone have a blessed day. Today is August 31st, 2022. I'm sure there will be some hysterical laughter in a couple weeks by whatever someone's done to me. Whatever. I'm sure at some point you'll see some great entertainment, because everyone loves that. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. Ugh. I don't know what to say or do. I just want to get out of every state now. Every state I've been in so far that's like harassed me over everyone else's bullshit. That we wouldn't have had any problems, state of Illinois. We wouldn't have had any problems. I didn't do anything wrong. I was feeding into your whatever nonsense systems and giving money to all these small businesses. I don't know what to tell you. I thought I was doing right by the world. I thought tipping a little bit extra was helpful to these people. The people that ran all these nice places, or even the people that were little dicks and didn't deserve a tip. And maybe I made their day and made them better for you. Maybe it helped you out, reprimanding some people. Maybe it helps. Just like I posted the fucking Roach Motel. Why don't you take on that? Why don't you get somebody to go exterminate all of that? Wipe out some of these shitty ass fucking hotels, and then that way you can rebuild. Instead, you're gonna spread COVID. That's why nobody's reusing shit. That's why nobody's recycling shit, because they're like, oh shit, there's too much toxicity in the world. There's too much bacteria and germs and viruses. We can't just blah, blah, blah. The world is shit. I'm not gonna deal with it. I feel sad for the baby. And then they put that fucking court date right away. I'm not sure why you do that. I'm already suffering from the fact that you took him away for an hour, and then beyond an hour, and then I just detached. I knew it was too long. I checked the time when they were talking to me. I knew. Just brace yourself, bitch. It's gonna be a lot longer. Okay, you're right. It's gonna be about 18 years plus longer until he comes to find me, if I'm still around. So hopefully I won't be. I hope somebody shoots me one day. Like, I really do. It's just one of those things. Like, shoots me and leaves me for dead. So I can just lie there and bleed out. Pray for salvation. And go to my happy place. Because, like, in some parts of pain, you know, there is that release. So I thought I was going to have it easy. There's no easy street for people. You've got to jump through some flaming hoops, bitch. No, I'd rather die. I'd rather starve. You can beat me to death. Then everybody will know what a shitty person you are. Because you didn't want to help when you could. But instead, you wanted to help afterward when all the fucking, when you were all fucking crippled and fucking burnt to shit. Fuck. Or you don't even want to help. You leave it for someone else to pick up after you. That's what you do. Same thing with the fucking rapist. I'll just leave someone else to take care of the fucking pieces after this bitch is destroyed and there's a kid somewhere wandering around with my fucking last name. Whoa. Alright then. Pussy. And that's a compliment. What are you? You're a ball sack. Fucking ball sack. On your face type ball sack. The worst kind. Right out in the open. Nobody wants to see, and it's fucking disgusting and smells bad. I wiped his little balls. Ew. Like, I was like, ew. It was, I had to do it, so there wasn't any, like, but it was gross. I was like, oh, I had to lift them. Got some big old balls, buddy. So anyway. Gross. Gross. And then he was cold because the wipes were cold. So I was like trying to warm him up with my hands and breathe on him and trying to wipe him down. I was like, no, don't hurt. The world is a shitty place. You've got to learn to suffer immediately. Suffer while you're inside of your mother. So you understand the world doesn't want you and never will. So, August 31st, yes, 2022. Leticia Collins Servin. Everyone have a lovely week. Well, it's Wednesday, right? It's hump day. So have a great remainder of your week and weekend. And you never know what happens with Letitia. Sometimes she gets put in jail for no fucking reason. You never know. So, Letitia, Letitty. Have a good day.